So, right, I'm going to talk to you about some stuff today. My talk is called Graft, Craft, and Being Daft. And there's a bit of a caveat. I don't really think you're going to learn anything, but hopefully I want you to feel something at the end of this. So, based right here in Bristol, and there's a lot of things that happen in Bristol, and it's kind of known for a lot of different things as well. From its arts to its music, it's also known for these guys as well. And that's where I come in. So, by day, I'm a senior designer for Aardman Animations, just over there, right over there. And it is a dream job. It's this place, it's this like cathedral of creativity. It's just, there's always something happening. It's filled with characters and wonder and people doing things, like just making stuff happen. It's a really, really rad, exciting place to be. And it's a place that I grew up adoring. You know, I would sit down on Christmas Day with my family and watch Wallace and Gromit. That's what I've always done. So to be there with those people that make that stuff out of clay, that's incredible. Anyway, okay, so what I do actually at Aardman Animations, which is this dream job, is I'm a senior designer for the digital team. So that's what I predominantly do. I make digital apps and games and websites and anything interactive, anything with pixels. I sort of take the plasticine and turn it into pixels, essentially. And it's a really lovely way to sort of transpose this stuff that is normally linear and narrative, because it's a story or a film, and then turn it into an interactive experience. But we're also sort of like a third-party studio within Aardman too, because we make stuff for Wallace and Gromit and all those guys, but also we make stuff for clients too. So it's really, really nice to have this balance of constantly shifting between a well-known, loved clay character and some client work for the BBC or Nickelodeon or whoever it may be. So it's a really nice job jumping back and forth. But as well as jumping back and forth between those things, I really love just being involved in as much as the company as possible. So over the years, I've been fortunate enough to jump through different departments. And so I've recently worked on the rebranding of all of Aardman, and so doing lots of print work and like proper graphic design with typography and all that stuff. You know, so that's really nice to do both digital and both print. But then also I've recently been involved in the Shaun the Sheep movie, which is again another really exciting avenue to be in, to go from, it's one thing bringing in a digital design studio to then stepping up to a feature film. You know, it's really incredible seeing their creative processes and their workflows and their pipelines and just sort of dissecting how they do things and how they solve problems. And the fact that obviously what the conference is about today is sort of that, is problem solving and finding different ways to work with different people to collaborate, to make stuff happen, you know? So that was really, really nice seeing that whole process too. And it's just been great just being involved in this, and as I continue to go on, doing more and more different things with different departments, with different people. Literally just finished working on an animated film with a director this morning that was really, I can't tell you what it is, but it was really exciting. It was a totally different way of working, and it again opened my eyes. So there's always something new to learn. There's always a different way to do things. And what you think you might know, it's always good just to totally throw that out and start fresh. You know, you can't be precious on your own processes, because they can change, they can be better, they can evolve, and it's always different depending on who or what you're working with. I can smell lunch. It smells really nice. So that's what I do by day, and by night, I do my own stuff. You don't stop being creative at 6 o'clock. Like, you don't just clock off and go, right, I don't give a toss about crayons anymore. Like, that's not how that works. You just want to carry on making stuff and doing stuff. So over the years, I've had this alias, name of JamFactory. And it's a name I gave myself purely because I thought, do you know what, I want a really cool, like, alter ego. And this is what happens when you're 18 years old and you're like, yeah, it's going to be the coolest name. And I can't think of one, so I'll just randomly type 2 words into Google. There we go, they're free as the domain name. Bosh! And so I stuck with it. So JamFactory was free. And the best way to make sure that you will commit to choosing your own name, whether that's a name for yourself or as an agency, is just to get it tattooed on you, because then you can never change your logo. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. You can't change it. So that's what I do at night. I like to do lots and lots of different things, from graphic design to toy design to illustration to photography to filmmaking, like anything. Like, this is the thing. You don't just, I don't believe anyone is just set within boundaries of I only like this one thing and I will never do anything different. No way, man. We're all inspired and influenced by the music we listen to, the places we've been, the places we want to go, the places that we were born, the films that we watched, the things that we did as kids, the things that we want to do as adults. Like, we're just this massive sort of melting pot of just different influences and exciting things. And so, like, you just want to do that stuff. There's so much stuff to be done. I want to do all the stuff. That's what I try and do in my own time, and it's anything from just sort of, laser pointer, profesh. So, you know, just sort of stuff that I'm just trying to make graphics that are things I believe in and silly things, and like, it doesn't matter, just whatever. I just like getting involved in absolutely anything, in any style, for any reason. And the beautiful thing about doing this in my own time as just my own side project is it's not about money. I don't have to take on or do anything because of financial reasons. I've got my day job, which I adore, and then I go home at night, and then that just, my day work fuels my night work because I'm just so excited, and I just get to maybe a seed of an idea I had at work, I will then experiment with and develop more at night, or vice versa. I'll just be tinkering with something at night, and then that evolves into something bigger that I can bring into my day job. So I love having these two different factions, these two different sides that you can just do different stuff. And it just goes through anything, man. I just love stupid smiley faces. Who doesn't? I built an entire career on it. They're all essentially the same character, really. But, you know, I just love it. I just love droplet shapes, and I love smileys, two dot eyes and smiley faces. Why not? But then also, you can take this pixel stuff and make it real, and that's what's exciting. And I love toys. You know, when you're a kid and you're just playing with stuff, like, I've never actually really grown out of that. I like the fact that there's this physical manifestation of ideas and play and silliness. So I just like making toys wherever possible. And these were a series of toys I did called droplets that were available as little designer things. And then this is the gigantic dude who's like 4 foot tall, because the original droplets are this big, and I wanted to make a big one because who doesn't want big toys? And, you know, it's just all just different stuff, just doing it for the sake of doing it. None of this is financially good. It's not even good England, is it? It's like, you know, I'm not under any illusions that I'm going to make these toys and they're going to sell. I want to make my millions. My loft is full of this stuff, but it doesn't matter. My mum's got one, my brother's got one. It doesn't matter if they sell or don't sell. That's not the point. If you look at everything as a financial opportunity, especially in creativity, then you just you just stop every time because you're like, oh no, it's not going to sell or this or that. Oh man, just do it. It's only money. It'll come and it'll go. You know, that's probably why I don't have any money, because I'm doing stuff like this, filling my loft with things that people don't care about. But I'm happy and I'm excited, and the more I do it, the more I want to do, you know? So you've just got to find where your energy lies and just develop it further. And then that just sort of spills into photography as well, and I do this just purely in my own time. I've never professed to do it professionally. I just really enjoy sort of capturing things, and that's a huge learning curve as well, because there's apertures and there's shutter speeds and there's ISOs and there's all these numbers. I hate numbers. I became creative, so I won't ever have to deal with numbers ever again. And they crop up and flip in photography, you know, and then all of a sudden that's a new challenge that you've got to overcome, and then you've got to, but like anything, you know, you see it's challenging, man, it's tough, but as you overcome it more and you start to understand more, it just inspires you and pushes you further. You've just kind of got to find like these grooves to get in that you just keep going and going and going. And then from photography comes filmmaking as well, because with the invention of DSLRs, you know, you could take these beautiful still photos, but then DSLRs had CMOS sensors in which would let you make films. And the beautiful thing about making films on DSLRs is it makes everything look cinematic. So as soon as you start making stuff look cinematic, you want to make something cinematic to match. You know, and it's, again, so it's then using technology as a catalyst to push you further and just to go and make more stuff. So this is just, you know, learnings that I've just done over the year and just stuff that I'm super interested in. I love everything. I want to make everything. There's a million and one things out there that I want to make. So that's the catalyst. You know, you just got to find what makes you excited and just make rad stuff. So the three things I want to talk about are graft, craft, and being daft. I want to talk about graft. I want to talk about work, doing the work. And I always like, before I sort of get stuck into work, I like getting a bit of perspective. I like to, almost before you get started, take a step back just to survey the land, just to see what's going on. And then there's this quote I absolutely love that always puts things in perspective for me, that lets me, I don't know, just find the purpose and not worry about external stresses that might come with a new project or a new idea or a new venture or whatever it is. And it's this quote: "You're a ghost driving a meat-covered skeleton made from stardust." Yeah, As soon as I think about it like that, I go, oh, well, yeah, I might as well do that thing because I'm just a meat bag. Do you know what I mean? It just puts everything into perspective. We're all just these tiny little carbon molecules, and it's like, oh, that's it then. We're all the same. We're all meat bags. Oh, cool. And then I just go, oh, all right. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like you need to step back, blow your mind with space stuff, and then you can just forget about that because it's quite scary. And then you go, okay, I'm just going to give my absolute all to this project, to this thing, and this idea. And it's, yeah, it's just, I think it's really important to do that. And unfortunately, I don't know the source of this quote as well. I've been trying to find it. It pops up. It's like a Tumblr favorite. This thing's always on Tumblr. And I don't know where it's from. So, if someone does know, then please let me know where it comes from. But then that sort of extends further to this diagram, which I find really, really important. It's a circle of concern versus a circle of control. Now, the circle of concern is the big black ring on the left. And it's the stuff that people, the media, just in external sources would have you be concerned about. And it's natural disasters, the weather, the sex lives of celebrities and politicians, the economy, what other people think of you, the news, political views of others, all this stuff that you're like, oh yeah, I've got to be concerned about that. And it's just like emotional baggage. You've got to worry about this stuff and be concerned about it. But the thing is, you can't control any of that. You can control none of that. The stuff you can control is in green. Look how tiny it is. You can't sort of get to that stuff. What you need to do is you need to take that step back, sort of cast off all those shackles and go, actually, all I care about is the stuff I can control. Your attitude and enthusiasm, what you create, what you leave behind, the places you travel to, what you read, where you live, leadership positions you hold. There's so much stuff. And again, as soon as I started thinking like this and sort of found this diagram, it's like, yes. Because it's really hard, man, isn't it? You're just totally bombarded all the time with this stuff in the news and in the papers and all these things that you should be concerned about. And it's draining, it's exhausting. Energy is a precious thing. It's a super precious resource. You know, you've got to spend it wisely. And if you're spending the whole thing going, oh no, what's Kim Kardashian done now? Like, that is energy. That is precious energies. You can hear yourselves dying as you watch anything with those people on it. Like, you need to spend those precious dying cells on things that matter to you and things that you want to do and make and the people you're with, you know. So I often quite like to, you know, I'll do it, you know, be on Facebook and there'll be this link, this clickbaited link, and I'll just get super angry about for example, what the Kardashians have done. And then you just go, oh, not my concern. You know, and then you just go and do, you know, slam the computer, throw it out the window, and then go and do something proper, you know. But this is the other side of it as well. And this quote I absolutely love, and Steve Furtick nails this. The reason we struggle with insecurity is that we compare our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlights reel. And in the age of Instagram, of Twitter, this nails it for me because it's just totally true. Everything you see is a curated view. You know, we all follow our heroes and the people we admire and the people doing incredible things. And, you know, you've only got to scroll through their feed and you go, oh, my God, oh, they're doing that thing. Oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, I am worthless. Like, and again, that's sort of draining in itself. But also, you are seeing their highlights reel. They've cut that together, whether you like it or not. A filter is them showing you their highlights reel. That's not natural. They've added this filter onto it, or they've added this vignette, or they've just shown you that. Like, every single part of that is curated. So you've just got to remember, they're not showing you the Instagram picture where they're just sitting in a corner of a room crying for no reason. They're just crying. They're confused and they're anxious and they don't know what they want to do next. They're not in the position that they want to be. They're not working on the things that they want to do. It's like you don't see that. We all need to share more of our behind the scenes. Or actually, no, we don't. We just need to get on with it and not worry about what other people are doing. Take the inspiration from the fact that they are real people with real worries doing the same thing as us, you know? So these are some things that I just want to share with you because they're things that I believe in. You might agree, you might not agree, but these are things that help me keep going and help me be excited and have that energy. And this is the thing, right? I think work should be enjoyed and not endured because there's this myth, especially as we're growing up. I mean, we're super fortunate. We're here in this lovely, leafy, beautiful metropolitan city, and we're here sitting in a lovely arty cinema, and we're having a lovely time, having some snacks and some tea. It's like, so we're lucky already. Out the gate, we're super lucky to be working in fields that we enjoy and we're interested in. But there's this thing of work is drudgery. Like there's this connotation that the word work is negative somehow. I don't really know where that comes from. I mean, I think we all look like we're sort of a similar age, and careers advisors weren't really going, you guys will be banging in UX. I think in 20 years' time, there's going to be a whole career for you. Like, they didn't do that, did they? They said, right, you need to mop the floors. You're probably going to stack the shelves in Sainsbury's. Like, there wasn't that excitement around work. I don't remember being presented jobs and careers as an exciting thing. It was accepted that, well, once you leave school, unless you're like super smart and whatever and go to university, then you're just going to work until you're dead. Like, wicked, man. Like, saying that to a 15-year-old, like, cool. So it's, I think, so I don't exactly know where it comes from, but I'm trying to sort of break this myth, because I think work can be enjoyed. I mean, look at these two dudes, man. He is into his job. Look. When you all go back to work tomorrow, I just want you, just in the middle of the day, just do a little shimmy. See if anyone notices. But this is the thing, we are the lucky ones. We're already in a field, we're already in a position, we're all here together because we're all interested in the same stuff. To do enjoy our jobs, don't bitch and moan about stuff. And when things are a problem or a negative, like, turn it around, work out how to turn it around, because we are the lucky ones, and we have the opportunity to enjoy our jobs, to do things that matter and to affect people. So yeah, there's people that are working hard. Again, the news is full of it, of course. There's this hard-working people like doctors and nurses, and things that are being cut, like real hardcore skills that we all need and we all value, that they are having a tough time, man. And here we are just going, oh, I'm just going to do some UX. Just sort of like we're already in a super fortunate position, And I'm not trying to hammer this point home, but I again think it's important to remember that actually, yeah, those client amends, they ain't so bad. At the end of it, it's going to be a better thing. You'll feel better for not just sitting there going, oh, flipping client, here we go, and do your stupid amends. Yeah, make the logo bigger, brilliant, yeah, right. You've got to just be like, okay, cool, okay, so what is it you need that? Okay, you need the logo bigger because you need more impact. Okay, cool, well, if you need more impact, we can maybe use this colour. It's sort of turning things on its head and just going forward with a bit of positivity, because we are already fortunate to make work that we enjoy. Secondly, it's be the change that you want to see. If you want to be DeVito and you're like, do you know what, I just need a career change, turn into what is that? I think it's a ham with some pineapples and cherries on it. But the point is that sometimes you might want to change things in your organization, as an individual, in a small company, however it is. Like, just be the change that you want to see. Don't sit there moaning about it. You do it. I ain't saying it's easy. None of this is easy. Of course it's not. But, if it was easy, then, everyone would do it. You need to work hard at it. But, yeah, you've just got to be the change that you want to see. If you're not seeing it, if you're not being inspired by it, then you make the change. You make those things happen, however that comes about. And it might be a small shift, or it might be an absolutely massive shift. You might need to leave companies or start something new to do it because you're not happy with your worldview that you're being presented. You're like, you know what, I want things to be more like this. Go and do this. Go and make that happen. But there's another flip side to this. Essentially, these are all just caveats to each other. Because I'm not saying these are the answers. I'm just kind of saying that there's these things that we might need to identify. And sometimes if you're trying to be the change and it's not working, for example, in a larger organization and things like that, well then, seek creative satisfaction somewhere else. If you've not got it, go home at night and do it. Work on it as a side project, or quit, travel the world and do something else. It's sort of like you've just got to, at every point you just need to try and change things or do new things. And if it's not working, then you need to reassess why, and then just sort of go from there and go, okay, well, I'm going to get that satisfaction, because that's a really important thing, right? You want that satisfaction of doing a good job and working on something fun or solving a problem for someone, and that's a lovely feeling, isn't it, when you get a great piece of feedback or a great response. So that satisfaction is a really, really lovely feeling, and it sort of pushes you forward. So if you're not getting that in the day or in the night, get it somewhere else. Work out where it can be. It can be anywhere at any time. But yeah, you've got to be constantly sort of like assessing and analysing and seeing what you can do and where you can go. There's another thing, right? Now, if you are a true visionary and you are truly original, then this point does not apply to you, and I worship you and adore you, because it's really, really hard to be truly original, like super hard. Like, that's why it's called being original, because it's really hard to be original. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's really hard. I don't know if I'm stressing this enough. It's really difficult to be truly, honestly original, that someone, you know, you would do something or show something or be something, and then people go, oh my God, what are you? What is you? You know, that's really difficult to be, and it's really hard to get, really easy, sorry, to get caught up on this too, because you're just hung up on, well, I can't do that because this already exists, or I can't look like that because that's already a look, or do you know what I mean? There's so many ways that, again, you will be stopped in your tracks because it's not original and you don't feel like it. But I think there's so much more to that because, again, as we were saying earlier, with the different influences that you have, and you're a different person. Even if you had, you know, me and an identical twin next to each other, you know, we might look the same, we might act the same, but maybe our interests are slightly different. And those tiny, like, little variables that are slightly different will still create a different output. So you kind of, you've not got to worry what other people are doing and they're being super original. You've just got to do what you've got to do. I think it's more important to be honest, to be like, I'm into this, I love this, I want to do this, I'm going to go and do it. And just because when you first do the thing or present it to the world, like that's its first incarnation, as always, over time and as you change and as the situation changes, it will morph and change into something else. So I think inevitably it will become original anyway because it's you, it's honest, you know? So it's all these things that I try and tell myself to not worry about it. And I have these constant daily battles, you know, just writing this talk. It was like, well, what's the point? Well, why were they listening to me? Do you know what I mean? This is it. This is the creative life, isn't it? You just like, I love this thing. I'm really happy I did it. Oh, what's the point? I'm worthless. I'm never going to be as good as this person. Oh, but I just finished this thing. This is fantastic. But there's just no point. I'm not that good. You know, you just got to identify that cycle, go with it, and just try and verge more on the positive side over here, you know. And then we're all allowed to indulge and sort of waddle in it and go, oh, rubbish, you know. So you just got to do that thing and just be honest. Just make things and be honest with yourself. So section number 2 is craft. It's the process and it's doing things. And I kind of like this ever-changing approach to craft and doing things. There's so many things I love about this. First of all, we can't see the rest of the frame, but it kind of looks like there's a lot of space to the left and to the right of that post. So that's my first favourite thing, bless him. Secondly, it's props for the Tommy Hilfiger t-shirt. I like that. I want to see that look come back. But the point is this I love that word, autodidacticism. It's the act of self-learning. It's just taking it upon yourself to go and do new things, to learn. And in the age of YouTube tutorials and everything else, there's never been an easier time to learn a new skill, to learn a new interest, to learn 1,000,001 facts about something totally useless. You know, it's really, really easy to do that, and I think that's a really exciting process. You don't have to have degrees and stuff, and you don't have to have a formal education. It totally depends on your field that you go into. And I'm biased because I didn't go to university. I sort of got in the industry when I was 17 years old and was a junior designer and sort of worked my way like that. So I only have my worldview to compare, but I'm really proud that I didn't go. It also helps that my field doesn't require the pieces of paper with the degrees on it because it's more creative and, you know, it's a visual thing. So I totally appreciate that I'm biased on that way, but there's not anything to say that those self-learnings, the things you go home and do at night and spend your own energy and time on learning, can then influence what you're going to do next and actually bring together 2 degrees, for example, and smash them, and you're a new expert in a new field. So it's that constant sort of looking for new things. And just a little example of something that I did recently was I found the work of this guy called Paul Robertson, who is a twisted genius. There's lots going on in all of these things. I don't really know, but I was just transfixed by them, just these beautiful animated pixel GIFs. And I found his work because he did the pixel reinterpretation of the Simpsons intro. You might have seen that online a few months ago, and it was just like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. I don't know what it is. And I'd never done any pixel art, so I just decided to teach myself and just to learn. And it was for no good reason other than I was excited and I was inspired and I was blown away by someone's creativity and their style and their technique. And I loved that. It did branch into different directions, and I ended up using some pixel art in my day job as well, which was great, because I was just so excited of learning this stuff. I would spend my lunchtimes mucking around in 32 by 32 pixels, just playing and experimenting, and it was just a nice, just that lovely feeling to learn again. I think as we get older, you just you think, okay, everything I know, I've got my worldviews figured out, I've got my career figured out, and then that's it, and you're just on rails. But I think it's nice just to jump off those rails and just to see what can happen and where it can go, and it could be really small. Not everyone just has to just go, right, I'm going to change my career and I'm going to be a pilot now, I was a designer. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be the tiniest thing. You never know where it's going to sort of lead. 5 minutes, you are kidding me. 5 minutes. Are you guys ready? I'm going to smash through this. So I want to talk about polymaths. 5 minutes. Okay. What about polymathematics? And it's that self-learning and bringing lots of different avenues in different ways. And just because you never know where it's going to lead, you've got to do all this stuff. And I was a graphic designer and a digital designer, and then I got the chance to work on Grommet Unleashed, and so went from 2D to 3D pixel world. So I did that, and that was really exciting. And then because I gave it my all and did lots of different things within that remit, I expressed my happiness to be involved in all different elements of the project. I got to do another Golden Grommet, which was fantastic, and that celebrated the whole thing of Grommet Unleashed. And then it went from there, and then because I was just so excited and wanted to give my all and give my energy, I got involved in the Grommet Unleashed Hong Kong project, which resulted in going from 2D graphics to a 4-meter tall flipping grommet, which is totally mind-blowing for me. And so just when I didn't think it could get any better, they released a Shaun in the City project, and I was like, oh my God, please, I would love to be involved again. I adore being part of it. And so that happened, so I got to be involved in that, and I got to make not one sheet, I got to make 2 sheep. Actually, I got to make 3 sheep, which was incredible because I was just excited at every point. But then that all fed into be like I try my hardest to be a polymath, trying to bring that term back of being involved in so many different disciplines. Because in my day job, I got to do the website design and the app design for Shaun in the City. That meant I got to do all the wireframing, the UX, the UI, everything, everything. And I felt so excited and included in this whole project, just trying to do as much as I can and share my excitement that I built up in the evenings with my colleagues during the day to be like, oh, I'd love to do this and to do that. So it's just like getting that energy and getting that excitement. So what I want to talk about is about being daft is you never know where it's going to lead. And I just like doing stuff for fun in my own time. And the new Godzilla film was coming out, and I was super, super excited. And so I made a graphic just based on the Godzilla and the radioactive things and didn't really think anything of it. Just did it just for fun. And then I just like, when you just want to do things that make you laugh. So I just sort of did this, and it doesn't make, you only get it if you understand the 90s ODB song. When you just like, I don't care if anyone gets this or not. And so you start doing silly things, you don't really know what it's going to take. And then sort of did this. And it's like, but that makes me laugh, but it only really works if you understand, if you've seen the original Wu-Tang cover. And it's like, at every point, I don't know why I'm doing this, but it really makes me laugh, and it makes me want to do more. No matter how silly, no matter how idiotic it may seem, it's still a lovely feeling just to use that positivity. But then it did go somewhere, because as it turns out, my dear friend Finbar, his sister is Sally Hawkins, who was in the Godzilla film. And I made the original Godzilla graphic and sort of said to Finbar, I was like, if I made some screen prints, do you think like your sister would be up for like a little collaborative charity project? So he sent her a message, and she says, yeah, of course. So in the end, we made these limited edition screen prints that everyone that sold, all the money, all of it went straight to the Marine Conservation Society, helping the habitats of the oceans and stuff. And it's like, so just from this silly idea that was just, I'm going to do it in my own time and spend an evening on it, and then going in all these weird different directions of weird rap crossovers that no one else would get, to then come full circle to work with a Academy Award nominated actress to make some screen prints, like, flipping hell, turned out right, didn't it? You just don't know, you really don't know. And the point I'm trying to make, right, is there's this fable that I love, Aesop's fable. I can't remember its full title, but I sort of call it Be the Sun and Not the Wind. And the story goes that basically there's this fella. There's a sun and there's a wind, and the wind's a bit of a jerk, he's a bit aggro, and the sun is just placid and peaceful and radiant and calmful. And so the sun and the wind decide to have a wager. And you see this fella walking along. So the wind, in his arrogant way, says, I reckon I can get that fella down there, get his cloak off, no problem. So the sun's like, oh, flipping wind, here we go. It's like, okay, Let's give it a go then, you know. So the wind goes, right, okay, watch this. So he huffs and he puffs and he blows, thinking this cloak is just going to fly off, no problems. All it does, all that huffing and puffing and aggravation and all that stuff, all that does is make that guy just go, oh, flip this. You know, just pulls it really, 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 really tightly. So then the wind's nose is out of joint, so the sun says, look, mate, chill out, watch this. Just in his calm, peacefulness, positivity, just radiates this lovely sunshine. So a little fella here just goes, oh, this is flipping lovely. Takes the cloak off, leaves it on the ground, and enjoys the lovely, lovely warm sunshine. And the point is, you just got to be really nice, and people take their clothes off. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. The point is, you've got to be radiant, you've got to be positive, you've got to just use that energy for good, because, you know, people will react well, and the things that happen to you will react well. And I just love it. It's just such a simple story that it's like, yeah, man, you've just got to be the sun, not the wind. Because I think when it all comes down to it is that we have the power to make people feel something. We really, really do. In all of this stuff, we're constantly making teams and making decisions to make the users and to make people we're engaging with have a positive experience, have a nice time, understand some information. And I think that's it. We have the power to make people feel something. That's a really important and prestigious place to be for us as creatives. And I just think that is well worth grafting for. So thanks ever so much for listening. I hope you've had fun.